Hello, I'm Tyler here on my grandfather's channel, and we will be making a new website where we can watch live videos that are going to be going on for 2 hours that happen in this house. Now, my parents are going to secretly set them up so we don't know what will happen. And you'll say if we have a great life or if we have the worst life ever. It can only be those two. Actually, you could do whatever you want. I'm giving you that special option. Well, but right now for today, we're going to be having joke time with my grandfather. Now, again, as I said, some of them you might not understand, but nothing I can do. So, here we go. Flipping around.
I appreciate the opportunity to tell a few of my stories here. Now, some of them you may not consider to be funny, but some of them you just might enjoy. The first story I'm going to tell you is a golf joke about the golfer who sat in front of the hole here. He had his golf club there. He put his ball down, and he was going to hit over the water. But since it's the water, he decided to get back to his bag and take an old golf ball down. So he puts the golf ball down, and he's ready to take his swing. And all of a sudden, he hears from up in the sky the voices, "Use a new ball." So he looks around, and I said, who's making that sound? And he looks around, but he figures he better take no chances because it could be the guy upstairs. So he goes to his bag and he gets a brand new ball and puts it on the tee, and it's about ready to take the swing again, and he hears the voice again that says, "Take a practice swing." So he takes a practice swing and he swings, he swishes the ball, and he hits it pretty much the way Grandpa does. And all of a sudden he hears a new voice from up in the sky. He says, "Use the old ball."
If you didn't get it, the punchline is that his swing was so bad that he wanted him to use the older junky ball so he didn't wreck the newer ball.
Okay, that's the first joke. And the second joke, by the way, it's a rabbinical joke. It's about the rabbi who had just finished his sermon, and he's all finished, and he sees in the chairs, one of his parishioners, and he sees that he's down in the dumps. He comes over to him and says, "Jeffrey, what's wrong?" And Jeffrey says, "You know, Rabbi," he said, "I'm 30 years old, and I want to get married. And every time I bring a girl home, my mother hates the girl." He said, "I don't know what to do." And the rabbi said, "Look, Jeffrey, what you should do is go to one of those singles places and meet a girl who looks just like your mother and bring her home. And that will solve your problem." So 1 month later, the rabbi's giving his sermon, and one of his congregants, he looks there, and sure enough, it's no one else other than Jeffrey. And he comes over and says, "Jeffrey, what's wrong? You look so down in the dumps. Didn't you follow my advice?" He said, "Yes, Rabbi, I followed your advice. I went to a singles club, and I met a woman who was a spitting image of my mother, looked exactly like my mother, and I brought her home, and my father hated her."
I get it.
You get it? Oh, good.
Okay.
It really, don't have to explain the joke.
It really was her. It was his mother.
Well, not quite. All right. So the next joke is about this is a rather dark joke because it's about somebody who passes away, and they're at the funeral parlor, and this woman's husband passed away. So they're rolling out the body at the funeral parlor, and she sees that her husband is dressed in a brown suit. So she calls over no explaining. So she calls over the funeral director, and she says, "You know, Sam would literally turn in his grave if he knew that he was being buried in a brown suit. He always wore a blue suit." So he said, "Not to worry, lady," and he takes the thing that was carrying the body and rolls it out and rolls it right back in, and there is the man is wearing the most beautiful blue suit, and his wife is very, very happy, and that's the end of it, except that 2 weeks later she comes back to get pay the bill, etc., from the funeral parlor, And she says to the funeral director, "That was so nice of you to change his suit that way." She said, "How did you manage to do it so fast?" He said, "Lady, all I did was change heads."
So we cut the heads off of them?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Weird, huh?
That is dark.
That's a dark joke. And my last joke is about a lady who decides that she wants to get back into the mainstream. She's a widow, and she decides that she wants to meet somebody else. So she goes on this cruise ship, and on this cruise ship, they have singles people, and she has a chance to meet other people. But before she goes on there, she has a new hairpiece done, and she has contact lenses put on. She has a new nose job, so she had a brand new nose. She gets false teeth because the teeth are all old. What?
She fixed herself
And she
up.
fixed herself really good. She really, really fixed herself up good. But she has all the false teeth in the nose job and everything, and wears new lenses. She's really, and she goes out on the ship, and she finds out that she's on the deck there, and all of a sudden a wave comes, and she hits her head against the railing, and her false teeth fall in the ocean. And she's lying there screaming, and a gentleman comes up to her and says, "What's wrong, little lady?" And she says, tells him the whole story. She says, "Not to worry." He says, "Come back to my cabin." So she goes back to his cabin, and he says to her, "Sit here, sit here." And she sits down, and he puts his hand in the drawer and comes out with a set of false teeth. He says, "Try these on." And she tries them on, and she said, "They're too tight." So she takes them out of her mouth, she hands it back to him. He said, "Not to worry." He puts them, hand in the drawer, comes out with another set of teeth. He said, "Try these on." And she tries them on, and they're too loose. And she's screaming, he says, not to worry. He puts his hand in the drawer a third time, and it fits beautifully. So she says, "Oh, I'm so thankful to you. You're such a wonderful person taking care of me. But I have two questions to ask you." And he said, "What is that?" He said, "Are you retired?" And he said, "Yes." "And are you a retired dentist?" And he says, "No." So what are you? I said, "I'm a retired undertaker."